Okay. Okay. You're too kind. You're too kind. Hey, everybody. It's the Beardy from the Beardy and the Baldy channel, bringing you my longer-winded exposition on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. I gave you my quick thoughts the other night when I had just seen the movie, so I've had a couple days to kind of think about it and process it and all that good stuff. So here is my longer review. Um, I just do want to start off and say that despite what I'm going to say in this video, I did really enjoy the movie. It's not going to be on one of the calibers of say Lord of the Rings or any Braveheart, Gladiator, and those movies that I hold up in high esteem, but it made me laugh. It was action packed. The CGI and everything was really well done. I felt like I was in the world of the movie, and it grabbed me in, it pulled me in, took me for the ride, and kind of chewed me up, and spit me out at the end. I mean, that's kind of the way this movie went, and it was a lot of fun. But it wasn't. I didn't have high expectations after watching the first one. I kind of knew what I was getting into, and for some reason, I can accept that and deal with that in the Turtle movies, these new ones, more than I can with any of the X-Men movies. But that's in another review to come later. Um, so yes, I had fun. I enjoyed it. I do have a lot of little nitpicky things, so that's kind of what this video is me kind of going on my little geek rant about what I didn't like about the movie. But I do want to say, again, some more positive stuff. I thought most of the performances were really good. I think April's character felt more intelligent and less kind of confusing as a joke character than she did in the first one. Um, they did some stuff with her I didn't like the whole schoolgirl scene in the train station trying to download the info with her turtle watch. Um, I thought the turtle watch was kind of cool. There's definitely no way she was gonna use that stealthily and no one see what she was doing. But just seeing her do the costume change, which you all saw in the trailer, I was like, oh boy, how are they gonna work that into the story? And they did. Surprisingly, they worked it in. It was completely ridiculous and unnecessary, but they worked it in, and I just wish they hadn't. Because there's a lot more to female characters than just looking like schoolgirls or whatever fantasy the director, writers, or whoever has about putting them into. Uh, so, yeah. Um, Performances. I loved the Turtles. Again, I think the voices were great. I love the bond that they have between the four brothers and the sibling rivalry between them. Really enjoyed that. I've got three older brothers and an older sister myself, so while we didn't grow up, inner city New York, and in modern times, I mean, we grew up a while ago, a couple years back. There's a lot of similarities between the banter and the family dynamic of the characters, and I appreciated that. I liked that. They took what they built in the first movie and they explored that further in this one. Splinter, his design is pretty much identical, but they filled in the weird bald skin face with like fuzz, so that looked a lot better. Shredder as a character, his design, his armor and costume looks way better than it did in the first movie. Karai and the rest of the foot look a lot better. The designs for Bebop and Rocksteady, both as humans and in their mutated forms, are spot on, perfect. I could not have asked for a better design for those guys. Um, Casey was probably the only character design who I thought was kind of lacking. The mask was kind of cool, and there's this great moment where uh, Casey first meets April out on the street after she's escaping from this little thing with the Foot Clan, and uh, you see in the trailers, Casey, lifts up the mask and says, "Oh, I'm Casey Jones," and all that stuff. But he's trying to say that with the mask down, and to me, it kind of felt like a subtle little jab, in a playful way, at like Bane and Kylo Ren, where she literally couldn't hear him. He was like, "I'm Casey Jones," and she's like, "I can't hear you through the mask." So he lifts it. It was fun. Again, there's little things like that made me laugh. Using the Vanilla Ice song at the bar where Rocksteady and Bebop are hanging out, getting their burner phones and stuff. That made me laugh. Um, Vern Fenwick's whole story is Vern the Falcon, I don't know where the Falcon came from, but it was hilarious. They introduced him at a Knicks game that the Turtles are spying on through the Jumbotron, and I guess they made a deal off screen between the first and second movie that the Turtles got Vern to take credit and responsibility for defeating Shredder and the Foot Clan. So of course, if you've seen the first movie, he completely lets it go to his head, and he's like trying to ride that high road of celebrity life for doing this. And it's not so much that people recognize him; it's more of like, yeah, I'm Vern the Falcon. I'm the one who did blah blah blah. You know, he has to like remind everybody of who he is. It's not like oh, you're that guy. So that made me laugh a lot too. Krang's visual look was really cool. I was really disappointed in the performance they gave him, being kind of this like slobbering, jabbering, maniacal, like classic, mustache twirling villain that is just slimy, and the whole relationship he has with the robot body is weird. It's like straight out of the cartoon, but it feels like they like dumbed it down somehow. Um, but yeah, and again, Casey Jones. I'm gonna roll back to him for a minute. I really didn't like the fact that they made him a police officer. Not because I have anything against police, but it just felt like it just really changed the character, and that's comics to movie change. In the movie, it worked. It just he felt like they could have named him anyone else except for Casey Jones, and he could have still done most of what he did. Uh, yes, so biggest complaint right off the bat was the Chrysler Building scene at the beginning. The turtles hanging out there. It's like, come on, that's Spider-Man's place. Leave it alone. I didn't like when they're moving from the Chrysler Building to the Knicks Stadium to watch the game, that they had to label each of the turtles, like what their role are, what their dynamic within the team is. Leonardo's the leader, Raph is the muscle, etc., etc. Like, it's bad enough when the marketing for that happens in movies like this, where you see like the 4 character posters hanging up in the movie theater or whatever, and it labels like what role they play. It's like there's more to these characters than that thing, and you see that in this movie, that there is more to Raph than being the muscle. There's more to Leo than just being like the leader, and so they already have so much more going for it, and it just feels like that. I don't know, that just for some reason always bugs me. um, I already complained about the April shirt scene. Krang, like he was basically a fleshy brain blob version of Jetfire from Transformers 2, which Jetfire, again, movie to comics or story cartoon, relation. I know it's going to be different, but just having him as this like cranky farting old robot just bummed me out. And seeing that same thing with Krang, it's a PG-13 movie. They're clearly shooting for older, younger kids. And people who grew up with it, and they just kind of dumbed it down. But you know what, they went for it. They never apologized for it. They just rolled with it. And that's what you get. Baxter Stockman was a complete cartoon character. It's hard for me to believe that was actually Tyler Perry and not a CGI performance. Like, he was so goofy. Not that he's incapable of that performance, but just the physicality of, I don't know, he was just so corny and goofy that the performance seemed like that of a cartoon character, not an actor on screen, if that makes sense. Next big complaint would be the mutation scene of Rocksteady and Bebop. Shredder brings the ooze that he gets from Krang to make more loyal, dependable soldiers to help reclaim the city. Why are you picking Rocksteady and Bebop? They might be big fans. They're clearly imbeciles. They might be really strong and dim-witted enough to follow all the orders, but they're idiots. This is, and again, this kind of goes back to the 90s cartoon, and I guess that works, but Baxter already has like digital scans of them in his computer of what they look like as people with their names. It's like, how does his system already have them in there? And that only bugs me because it bugs me in movies that are more serious when they do these sorts of things. It's, the mutagen. Shredder's like, you must synthesize this, or do whatever process to it. So Baxter just giggles, runs over to his machine, sticks the tube in, and within seconds he's got the mutagen filling up into needles for to inject them. And it's like, it takes more time to prepare coffee or make a bagel than it took for him to synthesize this mutagen into a viable product. And then my next bit of complaint there is that the reason they turn into a rhinoceros and a warthog is because, according to the movie, we all have latent animal genes in our DNA that could go to any random animal, in the evolutionary chain. So I'm not even getting into the whole evolution debate. I'm not dropping my foot down on either side of that. I'm just saying, it was just kind of a what kind of moment for me. Almost as bad as making Casey Jones a police officer, or the Casey Jones being a police officer is almost as bad as that to me. But anyway, so there's those things. There's a lot of action sequences that just happen for the sake of the action scenes. I will say I really liked the moment Raph and Michelangelo break into police headquarters to get the ooze, because the ooze ends up in the police hands, or hands of the police. Yeah. And Raph kind of lies to Michelangelo as to why they're doing it, and Mikey, being the little brother looking up to the big brother, he's kind of like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm down, let's go for it. And then Leo and Donnie show up at the end to kind of help them out, and you realize, and this is the first time you see them interacting with a large group of humans that's not April or Casey, and it was actually a pretty strong emotional moment, I thought, because the police, their weapons are drawn on them, and seeing Mikey react to that was pretty good. And to get that emotion through the CGI character, I got to give them props for that. That was really good. The fight with Krang, I was expecting when he opens the portal. That's these pieces, Rocksteady and all this stuff we're going after. They open the portal to bring Krang and the Technodrome to the Earth so he can take over. And of course, it's the typical villain plan. He's like, Shredder, you think you're gonna rule with me? Haha, no, I'm going to destroy everything. It all falls apart, and he freezes Shredder and sends him into his collection. I will look for that on Blu-ray when it comes out to see if there's anything recognizable in Krang's little menagerie collection of things. And of course, the heroes save the day. And Laura Linney, I gotta say, Laura Linney was really impressed, because she's there seeing these turtles, and everyone else kind of reacts to them a certain way. And I gotta say, the reactions with them and the humans in the movie was really good. It felt real, as cartoony as everything else was in the movie. Some things really grounded it, and landed hard in a good way, and I liked that. So seeing her play the police officer, and she sees them, and she's accepting what her eyes are seeing. It's not just the complete, craziness of it. So there was a lot of good things about this movie. There's a lot of stupid little things that bugged me, but it was a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, that's what I wanted out of this movie. Just try not to think about it too hard. Just go have fun, and you'll be all right. Go get some pizza. Say cowabunga. High five some people. I don't know. Get some bandanas. Go surfing. Retrofit a giant garbage truck to shoot manhole. No, don't do that. That would be bad. That would be very destructive. And yeah. So anyway, that is the Beardy's review of TMNT Out of the Shadows, and it's out on the web now. So enjoy. Go see the movie, or don't. Whatever. Subscribe. I don't know where the buttons are. Subscribe to the channel. Share our videos. And we'll be back with more. I've got my review of X-Men Apocalypse coming up. I'll probably do that after this video gets posted, and then I'll be doing I'll probably be seeing World of Warcraft this coming week. So I'll have, or I guess it's just Warcraft movie coming up about this time next week. So anyway, have a good one. Peace.